Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lacey. I'm the owner of Milky Candles and I make videos about life in my 30s. Today we're gonna get into making dust covers. That includes designing, how I print them, and all of that kind of good stuff, and all the tools that I use. So let's get started. So we're gonna start off on Canva, and we're gonna go up in this top right corner and hit create a design. I am using the free version of Canva. I have yet to commit to Canva Pro, so everything that I'm gonna be doing in this video is going to be with free apps or free websites. So I'm gonna go down here and just click custom size, and I'm gonna keep it in the dimensions that it's at right now. And I'm just gonna go ahead and do 2000 by 2000. I find that the bigger it is, the clearer it actually prints. And then I'm gonna go ahead and click create new design. And I have this lovely, lovely blank slate. Now there's a couple of things that you're gonna need on your dust cover. If it's like, let's say your only label, these are legal requirements that you need to make sure that you check with your state for. Since the dust cover is not the only label I have with my candles, I don't have to legally have everything on it that I have already on my label. So I get to kind of make this really just as fun as I want to. The first thing I'm gonna make sure I have on there is my company name. The second thing I'm gonna have on there is obviously the scent name. I also do want to make sure I have the ounces and grams, so the weight. For me, it's important to have the location in which it was created or manufactured. I like to have the collection that it came from, so whether it's the Brown Girl collection, the Cologne collection, the Classic collection, fall, spring, summer, winter, you get it. And then of course, my social media. So here's how this will look. I'm creating this tiny little remove before burning notice. I mean, ideally, people will already see that, but some people might not. So I'm just gonna make it really small. I'm gonna center it. I'm gonna put it at the top. I'm gonna keep it underneath this inner square here. Creating another heading, I'm gonna do my actual candle company name. Oh my gosh, I can't type. Performance anxiety. I'm gonna stretch this all the way out. And I am gonna make this smaller. So that's 94, so let's see what 70. I'm gonna go with 60. And then I'm gonna go here where it says spacing. And I'm just gonna space that out a little bit. I might actually make that a little bit smaller. I like to have the candle name be bigger, like the scent name, than the actual company. I am gonna change this into my actual font that I use for my company. And I'm gonna bring this down. Maybe I'll leave it. It made it a little bit smaller. I am gonna space it out a little bit more. Okay, I will make it just a little bit smaller. 55 looks good to me. Okay. And then I'm gonna add which collection it's from. So let's see, what are we making today? We made white tea and jasmine candles yesterday. So for this candle, it's gonna be the Classic collection. Can't see because my Grammarly dot is in the way. And I'm actually gonna change this to Nord and this to Nord because that's like my other font that I typically use. This is at a teeny tiny little 30, and I'm gonna make it, that's good. It's the same size as the remove before burning. Actually, I think I like that better. Okay, I'm just gonna move some of this down. That's good. And sometimes as you drag on Canva, it'll tell you if it's like evenly spaced or not. So that means that it's evenly spaced between where it says remove before burning and Classic collection. So that's good. Of course, I have to think about the fact that my hole is gonna be centered. So what I'm gonna do is, again, add another text box. And this is gonna be my weight. So it's 12 ounces and 340 grams. I'm gonna bump this up to, that's too much. Let's say 40. Yeah, 40 looks fine. And I'm gonna put this, again, I'm taking a look at this inner square. You can find it by just kind of dragging stuff around and then you'll meet it. And this is the center line right here means that it is perfectly even with the box. So I am gonna keep it there. I'm gonna copy paste. I just did Command C and then Command V. I'm gonna put it over here as well. But I'm gonna change this to Phoenix, Arizona, because that's where we're at. It looks kind of funny. Is it aligned? Yeah, it is. Okay. This bottom line right here is matching up with the other side as well. Okay, so far I have just quick instructions so that people don't keep it on while burning. I have my candle names, or sorry, my candle company name. I have which collection it comes from, how much it weighs, where it was manufactured, and now I am going to add the name of the candle, which is, I'm gonna capitalize it, White Tea and Jasmine, and I'm gonna change this to another font that I constantly use. And then let's see what this looks like if I just kind of keep slowly blowing it up. Let's go with 80 for now, and then let's go back up here. Oops. Back up here to the letter spacing, and I'm just gonna space it a little bit. That seems fine. Now I want to kind of take a look at how much space I have left in this area. So this is the very bottom of my square. I don't want to surpass that. So I'm going to go ahead and put this probably about here. I might move it later. I just need to get my social media stuff down here at the bottom. So of course, I'm going to add another text box, and this is going to be Nord, but this is going to be another really tiny one. So I'm going to put my social media. So I'll say can't see, at Milky Candle Company. I'm gonna go ahead and drag this down. And then I want my air just shut off. So if you hear it sounding drastically different, that's what you're listening to. I wanna go over here to elements, and I wanna look up some cute things. I wanna find a nice little Instagram logo. So I'm gonna type in Instagram. And you see that you have all of these that you have to have a pro account for. This one's nice. I've never seen the actual just writing. But if you just kind of keep scrolling, you'll find some that you can use. If you're just doing a white background, that one's totally fine. This one's cute too, just like this old school Instagram logo. I might even type in logo just to like really narrow it down. Sometimes it'll tell you like other things that you can look up. So I'll go ahead and click on Instagram icon. We're seeing some similar stuff. So what I'm gonna do, so I think I am gonna go ahead and just use this cute one right here. So I'll go ahead and make that really, really small. I'm gonna zoom in here. And I think I'm gonna want it to be kind of like that. Yeah, that's cute and small. Kind of looks like a washing machine, if I'm being honest. I wonder if I click on this one, that took over the whole screen, but if I click edit photo and if I just hit adjust, I wonder if I like play around with these, if I can get like a black and white. Let's turn up the contrast. Yeah, we're getting closer. I mean, I turned up the contrast, turned the vibrance and the saturation all the way down. Temperature kind of changes it, tint kind of changes it. So I mean, if I wanted to keep it like black and white, I could do this one instead, which definitely looks more like the Instagram logo than this one. So I am gonna use that one for now and just kind of get rid of that. Create a little bit more space between my logo and the at mention. And then I wanna find something that's kind of like webby, some sort of graphic that's like the interwebs. So I'm gonna do this one just because it's probably looks better printed than this one. This one is thinner. I'm gonna put it corner to corner with my Instagram logo. See how it kind of matched up like that? And then I'm gonna make this the same exact size and I'm gonna drag it down. So now I know those are the same size. I'm gonna go ahead and copy and paste this, but I'm gonna change it into my website, candlecompany.com. And then we will line those up. Let's make sure that these are centered, and where's the bottom? There it is. Okay, so now we have kind of like all 4 points. We have top, bottom, left, and right. I'm gonna bring down this name a little bit. I could even make it bigger if I wanted to. And make sure it's centered. Okay, now this is the fun part. So I like to go in and kind of just look at different backgrounds. Like I love texture. You could always do a cute little, you could always do something that's sort of like an inner circle, outer circle. So for example, we could assume that we would be cutting right about here just because it's, you know, centered and kind of covering up everything else. So we could change this to, some kind of brown, and then we could make this transparency go down. Maybe like here, and then we could add another circle, or we could add something like, I've never really used one of these before. I'm not really good at doing this kind of stuff where like it looks really messy. Like I would rather just do another circle on the inside. I'm not good when it comes to adding layers and whatnot. You could also do different lines, different arrows. You can edit like how thin or thick it is, which is really cool. But I'm gonna go back to adding just another transparent circle, just kind of trying to show you some different ideas of what you could do. So with this one, I would again turn down the transparency. I think this is like a gray color. I'm gonna make it white. And then when you cut this, all you would really see is just the 2 layers, which would be something kind of cute. I'm gonna get rid of it though, because again, I just like to keep it simple. So I'm gonna look up textured background. Of course, immediately it's just gonna be pro. Again, you are gonna have to take time to look through these and just kind of try on some free ones for size. There might be ones that you look at that you're like, oof, no, don't love that. This shadow is kind of cute, so I'm just gonna take it, hover it, and that looks really nice. I like that a lot. Now, my little things disappeared. Where did they go? Are they hiding behind? Yes, they are. So sometimes when you add a background, if you already have like those images on there, what you might have to do is just kind of Command or Control X to cut it, put your background back on, and then V, Control or Command V in order to put it back, and then those things will appear again. So sometimes that has to happen. Some people can do their background before they end up playing with anything else. I don't really know why I did it the other way for this video, but again, I like playing with transparency. This one is pretty light, so it doesn't make that big of a difference. But there's lots of cool options on here. You could do something that looks a little like wood. Again, I just like playing with the transparency. So something like that would be really cute. Could always do brick. I mean, like there's so many options that you could do. You could keep it like this, and then you could even see again my images down here disappeared, but that's okay for right now. You could go back to graphics, or sorry, you can go back to shapes. You could do either one of these types of shapes or just a circle. And you could make sure that this helps your font stand out. And then you would just sort of circle around that. Like if you wanted to keep the color here, you would then just end up cutting around it. I am going to open the one I already have, which looks like this. So this is a textured background, and then behind I just have a kind of gray color because this was a little bit brown. I don't really remember. I don't know how I have this. I'm gonna be honest, you guys. I don't really know where this came from, which is, I recognize is not helpful. So what I'm gonna do is change this into white, tea, and jasmine, and then I'm going to change this to classic collection. That's what I normally forget to change the most often, so I gotta be careful. And then I'm going to click share and I'm gonna download. Now normally I would be able to print in this really cute beige color, but my printer has been acting a fool. So when we print later on, we're just gonna print black and white, and that's fine for me. But we're gonna go ahead and click share, download. I'm gonna keep it as a PNG, and then I'm gonna click download. And then I'm gonna go to Avery. And the reason why I'm gonna use Avery is because instead of just trying to figure out how many of these you can fit on one page, how are we gonna copy and paste it onto a document, are we gonna use Google Docs, Word, whatever, this is just already gonna set it up for you. So I'm gonna click blank labels, round labels, and this is gonna depend on what the diameter is of your candle. Now you can find the inside of your diameter, or sorry, the diameter of the inside of your jar on whatever website it is that you bought them from. The diameter of my jar on the inside is just a smidge over 3 inches. It's like 3.1 something, but the circle cutter that I have is 3 inches, so that makes it perfect. So I'm gonna type in 3 inches, and here is my template. I'm gonna scroll down and click start designing. I'm just gonna select the blank design. It's immediately in the edit all option instead of edit one. If you're gonna add like a couple different ones on one page, it makes sense to edit one because then you're just adding them in one at a time. But if they're all gonna be the same, which I highly suggest, and then you can just save them all in your computer and you don't have to go through this step every single time you want a dust cover, then just keep it on edit all. I'm here in my downloads and I'm gonna take this and drag it onto here. I'm going to center it and then I'm gonna pull it up. Now I'm gonna pull it past the safety area. And then I'm gonna do it. So that's my first stop. That's my second stop. See how it kind of automatically brings you there? That's why for me, it was important to have this stuff in a little bit further so that when I put it in the template, I can zoom in just a little bit more. And then that way it just makes it a lot more clear when printing as well. So see how I added it here and all of these are filled. I'm gonna hit preview and print it yourself, get PDF to print. You can go ahead and save it in your Avery account if you want to. I don't feel the need to because I already save it on my computer. So I hit don't save, download PFF, download PDF. And then typically what I would do is I would rename this white tea and jasmine box. Sorry, not box. Dust cover large, because I have 2 different sizes. And then I would actually just drag this into my documents, candle labels, candle collections, classic scent, dust cover, ceramic. So I would put it there, but I already have one there. So then I'm gonna open this up. I'm gonna hit file, print. I am going to toggle the black and white, unless it's already on. I can't quite see. Oh, it says print in color. So I'm gonna toggle that off because we're gonna do this black and white here. And I made 9 candles, so I'm gonna print 2 of these. So now we have these printed. This is what it looks like. You can kind of see the texture. I'm using my 3-inch circle cutter. This is actually a, what is it, Recollections from Michaels, but I've used Bear Boss before. We are gonna use this, but before we do, there's just a little too much right here, and if I try to go in and cut it right away, it's not gonna reach. So I'm gonna take my scissors, and I'm just gonna cut closer to where that circle is. This, I will tell you, this is what's nice about having a background. If this were just completely white, I wouldn't really know how far to cut. Now you could always add a circle around it. So I'm just gonna line it up just like that. It does come with a bottom cover, but I just went ahead and ripped that off. I take into consideration where my M and my Y are, so the ends of my name, and then the same thing with the name of the candle, making sure they're even. So I'm gonna just punch it, let it fall out of my hand. And then I'm gonna line these up. So the one from Recollections does kind of tear a little bit, but I think it's fine. This is a 2-inch reach hole punch. It's a 1/8 of a centimeter, which is perfectly small because it's gonna make it look like this. A regular hole punch, A, doesn't fit the middle of this, and B, just creates a huge hole. I am gonna follow this. This is gonna tell me where my hole is. So I try to make sure that that's between these two fonts because we know that that was perfectly even. But I'm gonna pull it over to the right just a little bit. The reason why is because Phoenix, Arizona is written in a longer form than the weight over here, so it's actually taking more of this side. So if I go directly between these, it's not gonna be even. I need to go towards the Phoenix, Arizona just a little bit more. That is how I make my dust covers. It's actually really easy. I just use your typical inkjet printer. I don't have a fancy printer or anything like that. Can't say I'll be doing these forever, but for right now, it is perfectly within my budget, and I like staying in my budget, honey. I've gotten questions about not having a little tab to pull. Because the wick is still smaller than this hole, this falls off perfectly fine. If there is somebody that cannot get this off because maybe the candle was sweating, they will be able to get it off. It's one of those things where we can't always strive to be perfect at everything. Sometimes things just have to be good enough for now, and this is good enough for now. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I love you even if you don't love me back. If you're interested in making your own dust covers, put a fire emoji down below in the comments, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. They're just happy mom's home.